Cheap Chinese Amp Day. I found this randomly surfing the web like I do for harmonica tube amps, and I'll post a link to it down in the description section. $170 this cost. It is a Fender Champ clone. The catch is that for me it cost $90 shipping, but you can get a lower shipping option if you don't mind waiting for it. As it was, the $90 got this to me within 2 weeks. Fender Champ is a late 40s amp that, for example, Eric Clapton recorded Layla on. It's been revered by harmonica players since as having great tone. The problem, of course, is that if you want a vintage Fender Champ, you're going to pay $1,000 anyway. And a lot of those vintage amps that also compete with the Champ, like the two that I'm going to compare this to, the Kalamazoo Model 2 and the Supro Spectator, these are both $600 to $1,000 amps. And it's not easy to afford these things if you're trying to play harp on a budget. Now, $170, plus or minus the shipping, still ends up with a sub $300 amp, which is hard to do for any of the modern amps these days. The Laney Cub, the VHT Special 6, all of those are $400, $500. Even the Stage 5, which is a great amp, back when I got it, it was $250 or so. These days it's north of $300 plus shipping. The only one that's out there that I know of that's relatively inexpensive is the Bugera V5 Infinium. But I haven't played through one of those. I don't really know if they sound good or not. Anyway, this thing came here, and a little later I will compare its sound to both the Supro Spectator and the Kalamazoo Model 2. And then at the end of the video I'll run this thing through its tone settings, because on both of the comparison segments that I've got coming up, I have this set with a tone at like 1, which is the way I like it, but not everybody likes that, and some people prefer mid-range and stuff like that. Go figure. Anyway, so that's what's coming up. Right now what I'll do is I'll switch the camera around and give you some close-ups of this, okay? Alright, here is the top of it. It's got a single input, a volume and a tone control, real simple. Both of them go to 12 though, so that's got to be good. Little jewel light and on-off switch. Nothing more than that. It's built like a tank. This thing is kind of heavy. I would guess this is probably, 15 pounds or so. Let's take a look at the back. Okay, it does have a Celestion speaker. That is a brand name that people have heard of. It's an 8-inch speaker. It's got a 6V6 and a 12AX7. And the pictures on the website led one to believe that those might be JJ tubes, but I don't think they are. Anyway, it's hand-wired, point-to-point, no printed circuit boards, puts out a really loud 5 watts. So let us fire this puppy up and see what it sounds like. I am going to compare it first to the Supro Spectator, and then to the Kalamazoo Model 2, and at the end I'll noodle around and mess with the tone setting. As you can see, my favorite setting is like 1. But it goes up to 12, and so we'll see what those other tones sound like, okay? Oh, one other quick note. By the way, on the website, there were 2 color options for this amp. One was tweed and one was black. So I chose tweed. This is what came. Honestly, I think this is a pretty cool color, but man, it is the weirdest looking tweed I've ever seen. Chinese first. Now we're going to try comparing it to the mighty Kalamazoo. Start with the Chinese amp first. One last one. Chinese. Kalamazoo. No, right. Alright, we're going to do some tone setting checks. Here it is at 1. Okay. 4. Kind of similar. 7. I think if I turn it up any higher on the tone, it'll feed back. 10. Right, single riff. Ah. Back to 6. 3.5. Back to 1. Alright. Bottom line, $170. A little bit more for shipping. Solidly built, loud as... Yeah. Holds up well, I think, to the vintage amps. I'm pretty happy with it. We'll see if it has any sort of durability issues as time goes by. But right now, this color of tweed, notwithstanding, I give it a thumbs up. Y'all have a good day.